Multiple new dates added, hundreds of thousands of pre-sale signups, Airbnbs and hotels sold out, and ticketing websites unable to meet the surge of buyers. This might sound like a scene from the Eras tour, but no. This is the current state of next year's Boys from Oklahoma concert, scheduled to take place at Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater, Oklahoma in April 2025. The concert is set to be the Red Dirt event of the decade, if not of all time, and has whipped fans into a frenzy. With good reason too. The show is a stacked lineup of some of the biggest names in Red Dirt music, featuring Stoney LaRue, Jason Boland and the Stragglers, The Great Divide, and the Mike McClure Band. And that's before you factor in the double headliner of Turnpike Troubadours, and the long-awaited yet totally unexpected reunion of Red Dirt icons Cross Canadian Ragweed. Their addition takes this show into the stratosphere and begs the question, is this about to be Red Dirt's seminal moment? I already did a short video about the CCR reunion and why it's so significant, but so much has happened in the week since I filmed it that I feel an update is in order. People who are only really familiar with the Nashville country music establishment might have been totally caught off guard about how big of a deal this show is. If you're not from Oklahoma or the surrounding states, you might not realize how big of an influence Red Dirt music has on those regions. Oklahoma, despite having one of the most famous music venues in the country with Kane's Ballroom in Tulsa, is often a flyover state for national touring acts, or at least doesn't get them as frequently as a lot of cities on the coast. But they've made up for that by uplifting a regional music scene that's unique to them, as well as overlapping pretty significantly with the Texas music scene, both in terms of the style and in the players involved. The Red Dirt scene used to be pretty insular, and in a lot of ways it still is. I'll give you an example. Back in 2017, I saw Turnpike Troubadours open for Jason Isbell in Virginia for a crowd of about 3,500 people. When Jason went on stage, he complimented Turnpike and said, if this show was out west, I would be opening for them. Flash forward to March 2019, and Turnpike played a show at Rodeo Houston for almost 67,000 people. And then, I kid you not, a month later, I saw Turnpike play at a Hampton-Sydney College Greek Week event where nobody paid a lick of attention to them other than a few frat bros who knew 7 and 7 and a couple other random fans that also got the memo about this show. Which in hindsight, I don't think was really meant to be a public event. I don't even actually remember how I found out about this. And I was fully expecting that concert to be a shit show given the setting it was taking place in. But rumors were beginning to circulate at that point that the band's days were numbered, and I just knew it was like, okay, this could be my last chance to go see them. And sure enough, in May 2019, Turnpike announced their indefinite hiatus. And there was a long period of uncertainty that followed. Turnpike has been back together for a few years now, but I want to tell the story to emphasize 2 points. One, in its primary market, Red Dirt still has a massive audience that doesn't really experience at the same scale anywhere else. And 2, people love reunions. When Turnpike announced that they were getting back together in late 2021, it felt like the impossible had happened. Evan had all but disappeared, leaving behind only a few rumors that he might be working on his friend's ranch, and definitely didn't seem like he was focused on music or getting the band back together. Kyle Nix and R.C. Edwards had started their own solo project, Ryan Engelman had started touring with Reckless Kelly, and it just felt like everyone had moved on. Now, when they got back together, they had grown to an unimaginable scale of popularity in their absence. After having last seen them in a collegiate gym with 1,200 talkative frat bros, you can bet that I got a little choked up in 2022 when I saw them take the stage at a sold-out Red Hat Amphitheater in Raleigh, North Carolina to perform for 6,500 people who were all scream-singing along. And not only did they grow in popularity in their absence, Red Dirt also grew in popularity in those years as well. This can be attributed to a couple factors, including the growing dehomogenization of media. Thanks to the internet and streaming services, what's mainstream isn't really as powerful anymore, and people's music and media tastes in general have become a bit more niche. You could probably also point to Zach Bryan's rise to international stardom as a way that a lot of people got exposed to the Oklahoma music scene for the first time. And look, I have no idea if Zach Bryan considers himself Red Dirt or if other people consider him Red Dirt. I'm not really sure how he is defined in that sense, but his name often appears adjacent to it, and he definitely has some affinity for it, even if he's not necessarily in it. Y'all can argue about that in the comments if you want. Go for it. The point is, Red Dirt, while still at its strongest in Oklahoma, has grown to be far beyond a regional phenomenon. The outside world started to pay attention, and the community is no longer as insular as it used to be. A similar thing happened with Cross Canadian Ragweed in their career. Long before Turnpike, CCR paved the way for Red Dirt to become the phenomenon it is today. They were one of the first regional acts from the scene to have breakout success on a national scale, and they really helped define what the genre could be. But years on the road together touring hard took their toll. The group broke up in 2010, and originally they cited that their drummer Randy Ragsdale needed to be home to take care of his special needs son, which is a pretty easy to understand explanation. However, the suddenness of the band's dissolution left many people wondering if something more had happened. And in the years following the split, group members have mentioned a number of different reasons that led to them breaking up. Internal fighting and differing opinions on what the band's direction should be both musically and as a business are often cited as the main reasons for the split. After the split, Cody Canada formed his group Cody Canada and the Departed alongside CCR bassist Jeremy Plato. The group was able to continue ahead with wind in their sails from their Ragweed success, but never quite reached the same level of success as their previous group. Still, CCR's legendary status and the importance of the individual group members in growing red dirt music has never been called into question. Nobody thought Ragweed would get back together. The group has stated that the band has to be original members Cody, Randy, Jeremy, and Grady, and that it wouldn't be the same without all of them. And as band members opened up about the split, it seemed that it might be more contentious than they were letting on. Cody Canada even said earlier this year, earlier in 2024, that the band would never get back together, and compared fans' requests for them to reunite to people telling someone to get back together with their ex-wife. I don't know what changed between then and now, but something pretty major had to have happened for his tune to have changed that radically. Cody took to Instagram to share some thoughts and give fans perspective following the show's announcement and the fan reception.
Yes, it is the full lineup. Grady, Randy, Jeremy, myself. Yes, it is going to be a good time. Yes, we are all in good graces. We are all getting older in this life. Not one of us isn't. It was time to do it. Our kids need to see it. Our parents need to see it. The ones that are still here with us. It's going to be a good time. Stillwater needs it. The world needs it. America needs it. Jesus, we all need it. Let's just do it. It's going to be fun, right? I will say this when it comes to the show. This is the biggest thing that we have ever done. The biggest thing that Shannon's ever had to promote. The biggest thing I've ever had to talk about.
The 2020s have been a big decade for band reunions. Already this decade, we've seen many bands reunite, including Turnpike, Gaslight Anthem, and Oasis. The last one, again, another band that no one ever thought was going to get back together. It's very likely that the pandemic and being unable to play shows caused a lot of musicians to step back, look at things from a new perspective, and try and heal wounds so they could live life to the fullest. I suspect that's gotten the ball rolling on even more announcements that maybe haven't taken shape just yet, but could still be coming down the pipeline from other bands. Following the announcement of the concert, over 100,000 people signed up for the pre-sales. Not only that, but within a day, hotels and Airbnbs in the Stillwater area were reporting that they were sold out. They didn't have any more capacity. Before tickets for the pre-sale even went up, another show was already announced to meet the demand. After many fans spent hours on Monday online in pre-sale lines only to come up short, 2 additional dates were added with a slightly modified lineup. Boone Pickens Stadium fits about 54,000 fans for football games. They can probably fit more for a concert if they're, opening up the field. They haven't hosted a concert there since 2009, so the actual number is a bit uncertain. But that means across 4 days, there are going to be over 200,000 tickets sold for this event, and they would not have added those 2 extra dates if they didn't think they could sell all of them. And to put that into perspective, when Turnpike made their first show announcement following their hiatus, they had to add 1 additional night at Red Rocks, a venue that is less than a fifth of Boone Pickens Stadium. Cross Canadian Ragweed is so beloved and missed in the red dirt music scene that this concert could very well be the most in-demand event in red dirt music of all time. I mean, you don't really hear about red dirt stadium shows, but we're getting one. And nobody really knows if this is the group getting back together for a weekend, for a larger tour, if they're going to record an album, anything like that. And the fact that this could be the last time we see them is a big motivating factor for many fans. But if the fan response is any indication, there are a lot of reasons to be hopeful that this might not be just a one-off event.
I've gotten phone calls from Dublin, Austria, almost every single state that I know of. I have people reaching out that they're just happy that we're doing this. Me too, man. All of us are. This has been talked about. This has been thought through. I had no idea. I really, honest to God, had no idea that this was going to be like this. I knew that people were excited. I knew that I was excited. I had no idea. And I'm very humbled that you guys feel this way. From our bottom of our hearts, we thank you.
There's no guarantee that it will be anything more. But if the group is in good graces with one another, if they have the time and energy to keep the momentum going, and are truly excited for this event, there's a decent chance that the show may go on beyond the Boys from Oklahoma concert. Only time will tell. Do you have tickets to the Boys from Oklahoma show? Are you still trying to get them? Do you think this is the biggest moment in Red Dirt history, or is it only the beginning? Let me know in the comments below. My name is Brent Funkhauser from Red Moon Media. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and follow along. I'll be posting more videos on Red Dirt, Americana, alt country, all that kind of stuff here.